everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Good Enough Gaming Podcast. As always, I am joined by Daryl, Trevor, and Jordan, and they're the three best friends that anyone could have.
Oh, fucking betcha.
This week, we are talking about... Oh, I guess I should tell the title of the episode first.
Oh.
This week's episode is entitled Spiritborn to be Wild. Don't
get us canceled. Don't get us DMCA'd here.
Copyright strikes.
Yeah.
You already knew we were all going to play it. You already knew we were all going to treat it like we were the Spiritborn Power Rangers of Sanctuary. But did you know that we were going to play so much so quickly and crush a bunch of new content? Well, maybe you did, but act surprised, okay? If you haven't figured it out yet, this week we are talking about the Diablo 4 DLC, Vessel of Hatred, and the continuation of the story that has hooked all four of us for years. So drink your Opal Cocktail, hop on the back of your Battle Cat, and get ready for a hellacious ride when we give you our thoughts on the Blizzard Activision latest addition to the Diablo universe.
Let's go.
Hellacious. Good word.
We are...
Thank you.
Yes.
There's a lot of $5 words in that.
I know.
Yeah, you're welcome.
$5 words for a $2 podcast. Please.
$2? You think we're worth that much?
I think I just give my 2 cents, but
Yeah. They don't make pennies no more, so...
but
Yeah.
So, Vessel of Hatred, I know some of us have dove in more than others. There was some group play embargo on it where for a while there that phrasing.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah.
There was some embargoes on all four of us playing together for a bit, just so we could experience at least the first bit of it as our Spiritborn Rangers together. I know Trevor's
hilarious.
Trevor's planning on whipping something up in post with some gameplay content.
Working on it.
Once we actually sent him our clips and that sort of thing, real life.
I did it. Okay. I did it.
Though it might not be the Ranger I chose, I'm actually drinking some gorilla mode tonight. I thought that was
Nice.
appropriate. Who ended up being the gorilla?
Jordan.
Jordan was the gorilla.
Yeah.
How was the gorilla, Jordan?
Oh, we're just diving right into this.
Oh, yeah, we're getting right
why
into
not?
it.
Yeah.
Let's fucking get
For
after
anyone who doesn't know, can you at least describe the Spiritborn for the people?
it. Well, I'm gonna
All right.
give that
What is
to-
this class?
Yeah, Kyle or Daryl, because you
Okay.
guys get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Explain
So
this,
this-
please.
The Spiritborn is a new class to Diablo. Never been done before. Because God forbid we give the fans a paladin or something.
Don't worry, you get a necromancer. Be happy about it.
Yeah. So the Spiritborn is kind of like a combination of a monk, the witch doctor, and a little bit of rogue mixed in still. I think would be
does fight a little bit
apt-
like a rogue. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sort of channels different creatures of the jungle. So there was the gorilla Jordan played. There was the falcon, Trevor.
Yeah.
Falcon.
Eagle.
Big bird.
The eagle.
Bird of prey.
It's eagle.
There was the centipede, which is very poisony. And Daryl, yours was the jaguar.
The jaguar. Yeah.
He's driving a jag. So we decided that we would test out all the four different sort of build paths to see how it played, what we liked, what we didn't. I believe we're all in the mid 40s right now for level for that character.
You guys are high 40s. When we finished playing, I just hit 50. So you guys are
pretty
high
close then,
40s.
yeah.
But then you also have another character, Daryl, where you've actually gotten into end game content.
Correct. Yes.
So we'll get into end game stuff in the end game. But I first want to just sort of talk about initial thoughts, initial prayers, maybe. The idea of bringing Mephisto back again, because he was in Diablo 2, and he was hinted at a little bit in Diablo 3. Or was that was
they
some of the
talked
story
about
in
talked
Diablo?
about him.
They talked about all of the old people in Diablo.
the
he showed up a
primevals.
few
Or Diablo
times,
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
brothers.
it's been interesting to see how they're applying him to that. And it's also interesting that we're back in like swampy, Karast lands again, because we got to keep it with
When all else fails, reference Diablo 2 and people
you're
are
good to go.
happy.
yeah. There was
There's
a
a
couple
ton
times,
of references of
Yes,
Diablo 2 in this game.
so obviously like spoilies if you haven't jumped into it yet, but there were some parts where like Trevor and I got a little bit giddy bin even,
Awful.
because there was
Shut
references.
up.
That is awful.
There is references to some like major like Act 3 Diablo 2 plot with like Ormus's staff, and you meet Ormus and the Gidbin and the Kalim's will, the flail, and a bunch of other things.
You go back into the Durance of Hate and stuff
Yeah,
like
the
that.
Trevinkel.
Yeah.
Trevinkel? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And the flared
People.
jungle.
The flayers.
The flayers even. They're not
Mob.
quite as annoying this time around as
I'm not
Diablo
mad
2
about
flayers.
that. I'm not mad about
That's not a bad thing.
that. I'm okay
Because
with that.
Yeah, for a while there it was
Well, especially with the amount of stuff that's always on the ground in Diablo 4, like
yeah.
area of effect. If you started throwing in a ton of really tiny enemies that like swarm you and you get stuck or something, like if you don't have some sort of a dodge mechanic out of that, like you're just like landlocked into a
Yeah.
little pool of death of little people.
A dead pool, if you will.
Yeah.
It's like that thing where like how many like 5-year-olds can you take by yourself?
Remember how it used to feel in Diablo 2, right?
Yeah.
Me
Like
in a
that
room
scene
against
in- it's
100
it's like that
5-year-olds.
scene in Step Brothers at the end of the movie where they're
Yeah.
elementary fucking,
Swinging kids at
fucking the
kids, like-
up. Yeah.
I just hit a motherfucker with another motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I mean, as a Diablo fan, as a Diablo loyalist from the early days, I appreciated the callbacks and the fact that they put a bit into it that way. Trevor, how did you feel about the Karast as a whole, and going back into the Durance of Hate?
I thought it was interesting. At first, I was actually really confused. I didn't really even see it. Like, I wasn't paying attention to it because I was like, oh, it's this new area. Trying to remember, like, the lore of where stuff is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then I actually started reading, like, where we were going. I was like, oh, okay. And then, like, some of the areas aren't the same at all.
No.
And, like, others, when you get to the Durance of Hate, I was like, oh, shit. Like, this layout, I kind of remember. Like, it's updated and very different. But I was like, oh, this is where you fight Mephisto in Diablo 2.
Yeah.
Like, this is super cool.
And you're used to having to fight the council to get into the Durance.
Yes, exactly.
Unless you had a waypoint skip.
Yeah, unless you had a buddy. But yeah, like stuff like that. Like, it was really fun. The jungle area is a nice addition, right? It's like we've said, every good RPG has, deserts and mountains. And he's like, well, we got to get the swamp in there somewhere. They had kind of the Scottish Highland swamps in this one. And then now
Boggy,
we've got more of the jungle theme.
Yeah.
So, yeah, overall, I've enjoyed it. We'll get to the gripes later. But I did enjoy. I like the fact that they've tried to create a character, specifically the Spiritborn, that gives you. They tried to do a 4-in-1 deal, right? They're like, hey, we're not going to give you 3 new characters, and one of them's terrible. Sort of like Diablo 3. They're like, here, we'll give you the Necromancer. They're like, okay, well, we're going to give you this character, but he's got 4 different cool things you can do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Also,
okay.
this new character is crazy overpowered, and everyone.
Oh, it's
wants
like
him.
it's
yeah.
literally online. They have had to update. So there's like you go to any of those build sites and it'll have like B tier, A tier, S tier builds that you can follow. Spiritborn, it had to have S plus because there's literally 4 builds for the Spiritborn that are that much better than anything else. You can hit in the billions with every other class, but in Spiritborn you can hit in the trillions. Like if you're spec'd right, like it's
which is
ridiculous.
absolutely crazy.
Honestly, I'm okay with that because, like, I mean, what other reason is there to buy the expansion if not to just fucking roll over enemies at the end game? There would be no reason to buy it at that point, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't hate it
because it's not like a classic. Oh my God, they brought back the Paladin, or like when Diablo 3, when they first brought back the Necromancer and everyone freaked out. Like, oh my God. But in this case, if they didn't have some reason, I agree with Jordan. Yeah, you'd be like, okay, I'll just keep playing my other character.
Yeah.
Imagine buying the expansion and the Spiritborn with straight booty cheeks. And you're like, cool. So
what did I put my money into?
$50 towards a new map, a new area.
Yeah. I mean,
still playing the same fucking class.
That is kind of out of Activision's playbook, though, right? Like any new gun that gets added to COD is immediately like the most overpowered, unbalanced thing. And then this is no different. It'll probably balance out in a season or two. Yeah. Once they've finally sold. Yeah.
Once they kind of realize how people play the character, they start to rein it back. It's the same when they started the game, right? There's however many classes, and they're like, oh, geez, we didn't think people would be able to figure this part out. Right.
Or we kind of looked past that.
Yeah. Oops. I didn't realize that this math was like multiplying and not adding. So
that was the best part of the beginning.
Someone hit the plus button instead of the multiply button.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I will say some of the leveling, at least with my character, I haven't felt like super strong.
We've been playing on hard, like the intro hard until you beat it. But at the same time, I think the way that you progress through the story, like I think by the time we beat the story, we'll essentially be max leveled. And then with the new changes that they've made, so instead of having to level all the way to 100, it's just 60 now, correct?
Yes.
And then it switches to Paragon. Whereas in previous seasons, I found you would get to 50, grind your way out to like 70, get some new gear that was actually better, grind your way to 85 to actually get gear that was like kind of end gamey.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, okay, cool. Now I actually feel like I'm doing something.
I can play the game.
Exactly. Because I think that's why some of the times I stopped in previous seasons. So I'd get to like 65 and I'm like, oh, if I don't have someone here like helping me carry me through this like little slog, and if I had other games to play, I was like, nah. Like this just isn't.
Don't worry, I got you, buddy.
In everything that you do.
Yeah. And I mean, like we hit 100 pretty quickly in the last season before the expansion.
Yeah, that's thanks largely in part to my friend Brad, who plays.
Shout out to Brad.
He's very good at it. Yes. And I've been a backpack to him many, many times, but I'm okay with it.
Now, as a less than Diablo faithful, Jordan, how do you feel about the DLC so far?
I feel like shade is being thrown my way.
No,
like
well, you know what I mean.
Poo-poo. Like I'm gonna poo-poo on this.
Like we all have our levels of fandom. You are like a bigger fan of other things than I am, and same goes for Diablo. Like it's not something that you like set out as much to play on your own as it would be.
Yeah, you're not marking time out of your calendar being like Diablo Day.
Yeah, to me, Diablo is purely a co-op game. I just don't get nearly as much enjoyment playing solo for something like this. Typically looter games, I'm going to either play like roguelike stuff or as you guys know, Borderlands would be like my loot game. You know?
Mm-hmm. When it was good.
When it was good. Yeah. Borderlands 3, fuck a dog. But yeah, I mean, honestly, this is probably the first like good chunk of time I've put into Diablo since I don't know.
Launch. Yeah.
Diablo
like
3.
last year, last year, maybe. It's definitely gotten better. I think I think the gripes of, like Trevor was saying, kind of that 60 to 100 level that turns super grindy, and you almost need to have a partner to drag you through the mud. They've kind of fixed that, dropping the player level max. I like that they brought back the Paragon levels as well. I really enjoyed that in Diablo 3 for endgame stuff. And then I think loot drops have also been improved.
They were the last 2 seasons. It's it's been scaled back again this one. Like this one is.
And they fixed a lot of like the weird loot shit. Like they tried some stuff. I'll be like, okay, you guys tried to do something a bit different. Like it didn't work.
Yeah.
But like it's cool because I mean we played last week or the week before, and like I got 2 or 3 uniques. I got a bunch of golds. Like, you know, the drops I was getting, I at least felt like I was getting some half decent gear.
Yeah.
So you know, even if you only played for like 2-3 hours, it's like, oh, okay, I actually got some pretty good progress out of that. So that's for me anyway. I felt like something that they've improved on since kind of the early days.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And once again, cinematics.
Yeah.
Diablo people, the people at Blizzard, I don't know what you do, who spends the time on your cinematics, but they do a great job for the most part.
Like absolutely phenomenal anytime.
Not necessarily like the in-game, like little mini ones. I'm talking like the full cutscenes.
I agree. I'm with you.
Yeah, like the opening expansion cinematic, like to start you off the story.
Yeah.
For the expansion, like that is fucking nuts.
Man, that dude in the
gets
boat
better.
with the
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there's some good ones too, but just the first kind of main enemy, the Phantom of the Opera dude who's kind of gone evil, he's all burnt up. Yeah. They've done a great job, and every time I'm just like, man, why don't you guys just like make a movie or something? Like, come on.
They really need to make
people.
No, they need to make a movie. They like 100% need to make a movie of this stuff because it's too good. It's
but
just
actually write it yourself and produce it yourself. Don't
give it to anyone else.
Don't do whatever World of Warcraft did with that movie,
because that was
don't do that.
Awful.
Dumpster fire.
It was so bad.
Okay, as the most Diablo 4 initiated here, Daryl, I think we would be unwise to skip over your initial impressions.
Can you please start with your credentials of having played, please?
Yeah, like
let's drop the hammer for the listeners.
Scroll of credentials, please.
I've played over 600 hours of Diablo 4, so I feel very qualified to talk about this.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, so like the guys were saying, we already kind of spoke on it. Our Spiritborn Power Rangers, which we all went one particular style of the Spiritborn for move types. I did learn along the way that just this specific Jaguar by itself build is the worst one, but which does make sense. It's very squishy if you do only that, and it just doesn't really have a huge impact. But there are some really sick and effective builds for the Spiritborn that just make it really, really powerful, which is really cool because like Kyle said, I think it's the most like the monk from Diablo 3 overall. Once you get to that point, it looks and kind of plays the most similar to that. So very cool. But I have also made a Necromancer. I'm max leveled and I'm already level 110 in Paragon. By the time people hear this, I'll probably be 200. Who knows? But
more than that.
Yeah.
But it does have some really good stuff at the end. Things that came back that we haven't touched on are mercenaries. So that's also back in the game, which is really cool. Too. Yep. Really, really cool. That and runes is pretty sweet. Like getting the really good runes that you need are hard. You have to beat the tormented bosses at the high torment levels and stuff to get them, but that's fine. But mercenaries coming back is sick, and you can level up the mercenary. You set the skills that you want on them. You can set them as actively with you or as a reinforcement, so they only show up on on a certain event, and you get to set how they show up.
Like which
Oh,
button,
like
like
what
which
move
button,
set they
yeah,
do.
what move you're using.
So be like
they
every
show
time
up.
you cast a skill, this guy's going to come in and do this, and like every
Sweet.
time. So you get to set that one sort of parameter to your reinforcement, which is also very helpful.
Now, are the mercenaries something they added just for the expansion, or like if somebody bought the base game, can they use a mercenary in?
I don't
like,
think
the
so.
main story.
I don't think you can. The main Rahir is like the kind of the central mercenary that kind of gets everyone else together, and he is
Right.
part of the story of the expansion.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure you can even get to the mercenary hub
Yeah.
without.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Without
the story.
expansion, okay.
So I do have
Yeah.
a question, Daryl, because you would have done
Yeah.
this. So we've played together, and if you're in a party, you can only have like the help, like the show up, whatever that is, the
The
call it
reinforcement.
like the cameo reinforcement.
Yeah.
When you have the mercenary like by yourself, have you done that?
Yep.
Do you equip them at all, or is it just skill based?
It's just skill based, so they have no equipment, which is the kind of the downside. I did really like that in Diablo 3, where you were collecting like the two
You
things
double
of
up on
gear.
gear.
You were trying to
Yeah.
you were not only trying to
Yeah.
collect for yourself, but you were also collecting for that guy. And so I did really like that. That's coming. I don't know, because there is a plethora of loot
Could be an
in
update.
Diablo 4.
Yeah.
You get loads of stuff. Like there's no shortage of anything. So. Yeah, I'm playing on Tormented 2 by myself right now. I think I can go to 3 now. I think I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm hitting in the millions of damage again, so it's like it's fun. The new strongholds are probably my favorite part of the expansion.
Oh,
They're
really?
harder, they're more intricate, and there's just more going on in them.
Okay.
I was doing the strongholds kind of sucks every single time. I kind of wish that they would just like transfer over the completed strongholds every season. I'm not sure why they don't, but these ones I won't mind doing a few more times, because there's one that I was like, oh, I want to do that again. Like, it's different. It's kind of like a puzzle. There's some cool like little things that you have to pay attention to solve in the story and the side quests in this one. And
Okay.
There's like objectives within the stronghold that you have to complete, sort of thing.
Yeah, like doing the emote thing is a little bit more prevalent again, which also is fine. It just makes you pay attention. So, and I don't have a problem with that. So, I think the expansion has more to it than I actually expected it to have. It actually has more content than I thought was going to come with it. I thought it was just going to be another gotcha kind of like, thanks for the $70. Here you go.
Yeah.
Thanks for
here's
the
a character.
There's not
If they wanted to do that, they would just release some skin and be like, here, $50 for this horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially. But
They've already
there
done
is
that
more.
once.
There is more.
Have
You
you guys
can buy the war cats at the horse vendor in the major city in the Hantu now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
There's drop like loot for armor for the mounts as well, for the battle cat mounts as well.
Sweet.
And now the Dark Citadel, which is
Yes, that was my
every
question.
2 weeks, it has like a cycling new objective and loot for the end for completing it. So you get a reward so you have to do it in time to kind of get it.
So you have 2 weeks to do that cycle, and then it cycles. Not
And it
like this night on every fortnight.
Yeah, no.
Like, because that's just going to turn into WoW raid night. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
we gotta get on Diablo.
Exactly.
Okay. Just
Yeah, you got 2 weeks to get the objectives done, and then
That's not
That's
bad.
nice.
you get the reward.
That's
Give you some
respectable.
time.
I kind of like the other way though.
Yeah. No,
Just
I'm
'cause the
never
way I
going back
announced
to
it.
that,
Forces
man. I'm never-
everybody to get on.
We just crashed it. We didn't
The good
expect
old
people would
days.
get on the servers this much.
Yeah.
Even though we designed a mechanic where everyone has to be on the servers this much.
At
Yeah.
the same time, yeah.
Now, any other positives before we?
I like that they added a new weapon class. They kind of brought back like glaives and
Glaive.
kind of like long staff
Pole
type
arm, yeah.
polearm weapons.
Which I mean, like that goes well with the monk too, though. But like if this is their monk,
I think this is
adjacent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah,
is
it's
100%.
basic.
It's as close as you're going to get. They were like, how do we do this, but different, right? It's a monk remix.
There's no transmog chickens, so I'm upset. But
awful. There are some characters that definitely look like witch doctors, though.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, a ton of them in this one.
Yeah,
That whole region, they look like witch doctors.
Like trying to explain the existence of the witch doctor in Diablo 3, the most random of Blizzard characters ever.
Makes no sense. Yeah.
That was my big. I think that was about it. Like, I like they've got different helmets, like the whole transmog system. The Spiritborn class looks cool.
There's more gear to get now. Like there is more transmogs that came through with the expansion as well. So it's not just for the Spiritborn. There is across the board. There's new transmogs for everything. New weapons.
And you can transmog. You can do your gear stuff from your character on the fly. Yeah, you don't have to go to your stash, your wardrobe anymore.
That's nice.
I would like some more shaders, though. I will say.
Yes. But there was added ones. There was added ones. Oh, so there's not just the standard 7.
Like 3 more shades of gray. Like
there's 4 new ones. The ones like coral and there are some good ones.
Puce.
Like I know Diablo is a very moody game, but like give me a little bit of color. Give me some variety in there. It's like there's no good black one. There's no good but
everything is black there. Like you wouldn't even be able to see your own character.
Darkness.
Yeah. I want to be noob Cybot, Daryl.
I know. Me too. Sometimes
This isn't Warzone. It doesn't matter if my character's entirely black in the shadows. Like it's fine. No one's trying to kill my character.
It's still Activision. Can't they just bring Rose over as a cosmetic for Diablo? It makes sense, right?
You're gonna start getting COD.
Oh, just bleeding over into Diablo.
Don't let it happen.
COD skins in Diablo.
I did appreciate that I was like with the loading screens and it shows all 4 of us. I was able to take a couple screenshots that had some like strong Power Ranger vibes to it. I think did I send it to the group did I put it just in
you did. Nice. I'll put those up.
Yeah. So
I like when you play by yourself too, it shows your pet and your mount.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also
cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's pets.
Yes.
Yeah. Pets. If you're one of those
which
people.
is so convenient.
Oh man, that was such a nice thing last season. Like not having to pick up gold and jewel fragments and all that stuff. Huh.
They need to
nice.
They need more unlockable pets though. Like bring back like Diablo 3. Bring back like the StarCraft ship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me the hand. That was my favorite. It was just the hand that followed you.
Yeah.
They had some great ones in Diablo 3. I was like, man, like I'm sure there's going to be a ton of like paid ones, like kind of like in WoW, where there different mounts and stuff you pay for. But it's like just to get a cool pet in this was so funny in Diablo 3.
Yeah,
it was a flex. I get the flaming skull head one. Like that shit was awesome.
That was like a very rare one, wasn't it?
I had that one. I loved that one.
There was like a little mini butcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one too.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick little break. We're gonna derail. We're gonna talk about some other things for just a minute, and then we're gonna come back and bitch about the game.
That's what we're good at.
Yeah, so we're gonna take another dive into wrong answers only.
Answers only.
All right. We are back with wrong answers only. If you're new, how this works is I'm going to give the guys some sort of prompt, something that I do not want the correct answer for. I want wrong answers only. And they're going to give me the most ridiculous ones they can think of. Why? Because.
Why not?
Why not? So, this week's episode of Wrong Answers Only is a little topical with some of the news that's come out right now. Marvel has recently scrapped Blade and several other projects for a gambit of reasons, including lack of quality and writing and just not
lack of Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, obviously. But
the only Blade.
What I want from you, wrong answers only. This is the newest Dark Horse series that Marvel has decided to go with instead of Blade and these other canceled projects.
All right. So we're going to go in the theme of the great new Joker and other movies coming out. We're going to do a musical. And it's going to be in the spirit of Footloose. And it's going to be called Howard the Duck 2 Electric Boogaloo.
That's the only answer.
Yeah. Don't need
With
anything
like
else.
just tons of like shitty references to like Dirty Dancing.
Oh my god!
Like Howard Duck
Electric
swearing,
Boogaloo.
trying to hold up some lady.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Howard the Duck 2 is perfect.
We may as well just wrap it up. This
Yeah.
Like I didn't think of that.
Because you could make it R too. They have also announced now that the new Daredevil is actually going to have a mature
Yes.
/R TV rating.
It
So
needs it. It got to follow suit with the Netflix show. Like
we can get Howard the Duck
nearly as
drinking
good if they don't do that.
drinking martinis, smoking cigars, swearing.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
What's the Cosmo? Is that the dog that can
Yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Russian dog. Yeah.
Howard and Cosmo? It's like a buddy cop movie.
Oh my god.
Yes.
It could be like after they escape the collectors.
Yeah.
Like compound. It's just a buddy cop movie. My god, that'd be awful. My answer was they're gonna really lean in on Squirrel Girl.
Oh, that's what I was gonna go with. Squirrel Girl takes Central Park.
Yeah, it's just like, so if we're gonna get into weird characters that nobody gives a
Yeah.
shit about, but somehow
Squirrel
like
Girl.
has some
Squirrel
kind of a
Girl.
cult following, let's go with Squirrel Girl. People will love it.
You could end that with a really good like Tom Holland cameo, like a good Spider-Man, like
Yeah.
lead into the next movie.
Yeah. All right, I got one. It's nobody's going to be excited for it, but it's a Degrassi remake. But Drake is now a mutant that's stuck in a ground. He's stuck in a Groundhog Day loop where he's in high school, but he's old as shit.
What the fuck?
That's actually probably his dream, though, isn't it? At this point,
Exactly. Thank you, Daryl.
That is the wrongest answer.
I don't know.
Congratulations.
I keep getting older, but the girl stayed the same age.
yeah, Drake is. Oh man,
That works.
He's in trouble. I do have one just for this podcast because we've talked about.
When Kendrick said they not like us, he meant Drake's a mutant, right?
yeah,
Correct,
He's
yeah.
a mutant.
This is the
He's a
beginning.
mutant.
Yeah.
He's been he's been punished.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Purgatory.
But
Awful.
one more that I actually would kind of want is a Tales from the Crypt Keeper show.
Oh yeah,
But Morbius plays the narrator.
it's Morbin time. That's how he starts
Morbin.
every episode.
Obviously.
And it's just like Midnight Suns one. So it's Blade. It's all the really
Yeah.
dark and gritty characters. Ghost Rider.
Every episode is a
Magic.
different character going through shit.
Nico, yeah, that would be awesome.
I want that.
Oh, we had two. Oh, we had one that we talked about a while ago too. I've got two good ones now. One we talked about a while ago. I don't think we talked about this on the podcast. A show about the day-to-day life of as a reverse role of a husband that is married to a superhero.
Superhero.
Yes.
So we had picked Captain Marvel when we were talking about this because she's still kind of prevalent in the MCU. But coming home to like a reverse, like gender swapped 1950s home,
like sitcom.
like he's at home, making dinner, and she comes back from saving the universe, and he's mad she's late because she was out saving the universe. She's mad because her dinner's cold or something, and just like being this like domestic house husband.
Oh my god.
Well, Disney's doing all this like swapping his stuff, right? I thought this should be absolutely hilarious.
You
Oh my
cooked the
God.
shit out of the meatloaf again. God damn it.
Why is this steak
Just
well
punches
done?
him through a wall. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just
All right, and I do have the absolute most awful one for everybody here. One of our least favorite Marvel and X-Men characters, one of the most useless, sparkly characters ever. A show about Jubilee, just throwing sparkles everywhere. Except because she didn't get to play Dazzler in Deadpool, we get Taylor Swift to play Jubilee
Oh.
in this like
Yikes.
X-Men teenager spin-off.
It's just
Which would-
High School
would-
Musical, but it's
Which would just get
Jubilee's
more views than
life.
anything in the world if she did
But-
that.
Jubilee is like Asian American, is she?
Oh, I
not?
know. I'm well aware of that.
Oh.
But Taylor Swift is Taylor
above the
Swift.
class.
Wasn't she
And-
like
and-
she was rumored to be Dazzler? Like
Yes.
what the hell
Yeah.
that character's
Yeah.
name is? Yeah. Oh god.
Kyle, they can
No,
do
keep
whatever
her-
they want.
that's the
because
worst answer.
Taskmaster was supposed to be a cool character, and look what they did to that.
Don't remind me. It makes me so upset.
I'm waiting
you
to
see
see if
his
they
face?
correct
So
that.
upset.
I'm waiting in Thunderbolts because that character is in Thunderbolts. I'm waiting to
Oh,
see if
yeah.
they correct it.
No.
Because
Because
it's like-
they corrected the mask. The mask is better.
They're gonna lean into
Yes,
it.
but is it still Taskmaster just with the Thunderbolts? Or we're just gonna keep doing that?
It's Black Widow Taskmaster, not true Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's a different multiverse.
It's not my Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Hashtag not my
The
Taskmaster.
It's gonna be the Timu master.
Timu Taskmaster.
Sheen
Uh,
Taskmaster.
Oh my god. Okay, let's get back on track here because this was just as I expected.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, bringing it on back to Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. Do we have things we want to complain about? Are we in a complaining mood?
Oh, Trevor is.
I have some things. The first one I think is when we noticed when we were first playing together, and we were all because we actually did the different builds, so we actually had like different main skills and everything like that. We all kind of broke it down. I was like, well, my character, like last season I played a rogue,
Mhm.
and this season I was like, I feel like I'm doing the same skill with like a slightly different animation skin on it.
Yeah.
And we all kind of broke it down where you're like, okay, this kind of like each of the builds just kind of feels like something else. It's not like when you got to play, you know, the Witch Doctor in Diablo 3 or the Demon Hunter,
Demon Hunter, yeah.
or anything like that, where you're like, this is like a step removed from those other characters. So like I don't know, it's one of those ones, right? People are like, give us the Paladin again, give us like
Mm-hmm.
an Amazon,
Paladin,
like give us
yeah.
the Javelin Amazon again.
Oh my god.
Or
Do
something
you
like
remember the
that.
Javazon days?
Yes,
and
I do. Like call it
clearing
a
out cows, just
call it a Valkyrie or something, like whatever you want.
Oh,
But it
yeah,
just
good
didn't,
idea. Wow.
it just didn't feel far enough removed. Like I like the character in the setting. I just
Yeah.
didn't feel like they did enough in terms of the skills. And then I know Daryl, like you said, there's a bunch of builds, and I'm sure some of each of the builds probably has a close to or an S tier ability.
Yeah.
But I just know in the future, it's like, okay, we made this character. You can play it 4 ways. In the future, you're only going to be able to play that character 1 way. And it might
Yeah, it'll
change
have a
season to
couple.
season when they make some shifts and changes. Be like, oh, actually, the Gorilla build is better this season versus the Jaguar build.
That
It's like,
happens with all
You,
of the.
you kind of gave a value proposition that I'm not entirely sure is there. Right? Like in reality, it's kind of an
Yeah.
illusion of value because
I don't disagree with that. It definitely feels, in some ways, less unique of a character class.
just like a meld of all these other classes.
a little
Yeah,
bit,
like I've got a couple cool abilities, but same thing. Like my gorilla class, like there's some skills that I use that are very druid esque. You know, and then there's some others that are like barbarian, and it's like, you know, it definitely doesn't have that same like unique component where I feel like even with Diablo 3, you know, there was very distinctive
Yeah.
differences between characters.
It doesn't have that new car smell.
we're gonna get
Yeah.
we're gonna get really fancy with my art degree here. We're gonna say, it's very derivative.
Putting that degree to use, Trevor.
Yes.
I think I had a professor that said that a lot.
First time in years. That, I mean, to me, that's the biggest one. The only other one to me that I know, same thing. They made these references for the OG old Diablo fans. I don't necessarily like the rune system if they're just glorified gems.
Mm-hmm.
Because the point of
Yeah.
the runes in Diablo 2 was to
Right.
find like a bare bones thing with the sockets you needed and making wicked awesome rune words, which replaces the need for a unique or like an uber weapon. And getting those runes were so hard. Like the whole economy of Diablo 2 was based off of runes. As soon as they were invented or like introduced into the game, that was the economy of value in that game.
Yeah. But now it's just like what?
It's like a perfect ruby.
One rune,
but it does something else. Yeah.
I don't know why I just scissored, but
yeah.
But like it's. I get that they're trying to like implement the other class skills within this class sort of deal, but it's not the same. It's
no.
I don't really understand the crossover skills. I actually was like kind of looking at that, going, I don't like this. Like I'll just make this character. Like it's not hard to level up in the game anymore. Like the first couple seasons, like it was tough to get to 100. It took a long fucking time. Yeah. But like now it's not hard to level anymore. You go to Hell Tides, you do the seasonal stuff, you do the quest line things, like you're gonna be 70, 80 by the time you're done all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take that long to do either.
No.
You can get to the equivalent of 70, 80 now. Like you're going to be Paragon level 40 by the time you're done everything. So it's not hard. It's not difficult to do.
Just time spent.
Yeah.
And the only thing I'd actually be curious about is if any current of the high end builds actually relies on a rune so that you can use a cool skill from another class. Because my guess is like maybe one, but probably none. Right, like having a barbarian that can use some rogue skill or something. Well, that was, I mean, that was the point in Diablo, was like everyone wanted to get teleport.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could teleport to do your boss runs.
Yeah, because it eliminated the need to just have a sorcerer or sorceress.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like that was the one thing. And the armor that it came with was pretty good as well. But like, I don't know. Like to me, it's just like, unless it's adding additional benefits to a ruby, an emerald, something that's giving you health or extra stats, and it's above and beyond what the best versions of those can do, it's because it's harder to find. I'm like, okay. Like,
yeah.
I think it sits currently more like a fans, or like a thank you to fans, or just like a kind of like a, do you remember these?
Back.
Yeah.
Do you remember these?
Just member berries.
We haven't forgot.
Well, that's what half the area of the map is, right?
Yeah.
Remember this place?
But member berries just all over the place.
I will say it is cool, like seeing the Gidbin still like floating in town and seeing the protection fields that it sort of holds on the area.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that.
But that's just more detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well, I mean, D2R did a pretty good job, but
any other gripes? Honestly, it's a Diablo expansion. It gave me what I wanted, which was more Diablo, new space, and like the new area is large.
Yes.
So I do have a gripe. Because they revamped some things in the game, like the leveling system, the Paragon board, like things changed for this expansion from
pretty
the original.
Drastically.
Yeah, it was pretty drastic. One of the things that number one thing that pissed me off, and I know that like you're not really supposed to play your eternal character. The game kind of forces you to move on seasonally, but all my items went down to level 540.
Yeah,
which is not the maximum level in the game. And so I had spent like hours grinding out, getting the Uber uniques and like really good pieces of equipment and stuff. And if I want to go back to that character when I'm like playing with one of my other friends that just wants to do the story with me one day, like now all that shit that I took forever to get is nothing. Like it's useless.
Yeah. Start again.
Which that's a huge bother to me. The other thing I thought was weird. I was level 100. Why didn't they just max out my character level? Why'd they drop it to 50? Like, why the fuck?
Really?
Why do I have to get another 10 levels before I hit the Paragon level max?
Yeah,
like
that
also made no sense to me. So I was like, okay, this is also stupid. I don't get the move on that
almost
either.
seems like a mistake, honestly.
I
wouldn't
like
be
an
surprised
oversight
if in a
of,
future season they reverse that.
I don't know. I was just like, okay, whatever. This is really stupid.
Mhm.
And then the other one is because they made so many changes and added the new area and there's like new stuff. There's always going to be bugs with that. And one of the things that did bug out is side quests. So some of the side quests have like multiple components and chains to it, and you have to perform actions. And again, you have to perform these emotes and stuff. Some of them are bugged as fuck, and you have to leave the area, go do something else, and then come back for it to reset. Some of them don't work at all. Like I'm supposed to be fighting these like Night Panther things that are supposed to like appear and attack me. Never happened. Like once I'm in the area, I have no quest marker map. Well, when I leave, it shows up. So it's like it's just a stupid thing that kind of bothers me because I can't leave anything unfinished.
No.
Night Panther or Sex Panther, Daryl?
Got killed.
I guess it would only work 60% of the time. Then that would make sense.
Thank you.
But yeah, like just stuff like that. You're gonna revamp the system. You're gonna have some situations and some bugs, but it does seem really buggy, even compared to when it first launched the game. I'm finding more bugs and more problems now than I've had in any other season.
I think that's all.
I fell through the map in this one when I was playing with you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you had to like teleport back to town.
I forgot about that.
It was like I melted into quicksand in a village, and I couldn't fucking get out.
It won't let me fast travel to the new area. Sometimes you have to actually stand on the waypoint to trick it into letting you go. Like if you're in Kilvashad, you have to actually stand on the waypoint marker to travel in order to get to Nahantu. Otherwise, be like, you can't do that here. You can't do that here.
Jesus Christ.
So just stuff like that. I'm like, this is the problem with revamping too much in the midst of your game. Like,
it's just when you add a whole new area, it seems to bring out the bugs that they had from the beginning, right? With a brand new map. So the biggest thing, at least knowing this, they made a lot of changes that were good, but it's an ecosystem, right? It's an evolution. It's going to continue to evolve. There's going to be fixes. There's going to be fixes that break things, and there's going to be fixes that fix things. So
I understand, like most of my problems are going to get resolved.
Yeah, just time.
It is annoying.
Yes.
Well, when you've put as many hours into it as you have,
you notice the small things.
You're gonna notice and be bothered by certain things for sure.
And the fucking glyph experience only being in the pit. That pissed me off.
I didn't know that. Oh, interesting.
So you can't get it in Nightmare Dungeons anymore. You have to go to the pit, and I'm just not a fan of the hurry up antics like parts of the game. Like I enjoy the game, and I want to play at my own pace. I don't want to have to
be forced to do specific things.
Yeah, like it's just silly things like that. I'm like, why? What was the point? Like, because nobody played the pit and somebody at the head office just got pissy because they introduced
that was my mechanic.
That was my mechanic.
No one's using my mechanic.
Look at this. Now it's going to be the only way you can get glyph experience. That'll teach them. Just that's what it felt like to me. It was like somebody was just like, all right, put it in so Ned doesn't cry himself to sleep again.
Honestly, it's why I dislike the seasonal stuff. Because I don't like feeling pressured to have to play it within a certain time frame to unlock these things. It's like I appreciate that it's there for the people. I'm gonna even exclude Daryl from this list. The people above Daryl that are playing on a daily, weekly basis, they need content to strive towards. So I get that, but there's the one thing I felt with this game that I didn't feel with Diablo 3 is the pressure to play. And if I don't play within a certain time frame, then I'm like, I'll just wait to the next one. It's like, it's too late for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas Diablo 3 never had that. I was like, oh, okay, a new season is 2 months away. Well, I can max out a character and, you know, do some shit before that happens. Like, all right, I'll dive in. But yeah, just the seasonal stuff.
Yeah.
For me.
Time out.
Okay, so we've aired our grievances. We gave our the plus side of things. Obviously, it's time for scores. Daryl, as the most seasoned Diablo 4 individual with 600 plus hours, how about you start out?
Currently, I'm gonna say I'm at like a 7 out of 10 for the expansion. I really enjoy this game. Obviously, I keep playing it. It's one of my favorite games to play socially with you guys, with some of my other friends as well. Like, I like playing this game for the same reason Jordan does. It's a social game for me. I do like experiencing the story on my own. The story is great. The expansion is great. The cutscenes get real fucking crazy at the end of this one. So,
Can't wait.
We're very close to the end for us. Just so you guys are aware, we are pretty close to the end. So, but yeah, it is. That stuff is all amazing. I don't know. There's some of the other parts that I was enjoying a lot throughout it that I feel like are gone now. I actually liked it when it was level 100.
Yeah.
I thought that was it was a nice number. It was clean. I liked looking at it on my character selection screen, seeing all the hundreds. I was proud of it. And like, that's gone. And I don't really understand. I get that why they did it like, I get the World of Warcraft stuff where they like scaled everything back down because it was getting like excessive and too crazy, and just, you know, they want to make sure that leveling is a component of the game, but not the entire component of the game. But like, this one just seemed weird because it was like, it got easier and easier to level every season. So I was just like, why? There's,
scaled it back to something different.
Yeah. I was just like, okay, weird, whatever. Go to 50, 60. So bizarre.
Strange choice.
Yeah.
It is an odd choice. I would have preferred just do a straight 50, be done with it.
Yeah. So I'm a 7.
7 for Daryl. Jordan.
Exact same for me. It's 7 out of 10. It's more of the same. This doesn't get me any more hype on Diablo 4. There's some sort of sweet magic of Diablo 3 that's missing for me. I absolutely adore that game, and I know it's not the favorite of the franchise. But
it was so good.
It was good.
Eventually.
Yeah. Eventually, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I did start.
That's the only thing that's like. That's always what I keep in my head when I think about Diablo 4. I'm like, Diablo 3 was really good eventually.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's certain things that I just, you know, overcomplicating things just for the sake of depth, I think bothers me a little bit, and I feel like there's a lot of that in Diablo 4. But yeah, to Daryl's point, you know, the story is great. It's very well fleshed out. I like the introduction of new characters and new areas. The game is gorgeous, you know, from a technical level, looks very, very good. But yeah, like, there's nothing in this expansion that sucks me back in to want to pump out another 100 plus hours. Like, I think I'm at 125, and I'm happy with that. I feel like I've gotten my fair share out of the game. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me.
Nice. Trevor?
I'm like a 6. Like, it's all the same things, right? Like Daryl said, like, right now, if I'm not playing Diablo socially, like, if I just want to shut off my brain, chat with you guys, play Diablo, watch a bunch of fun, shiny colors, and like goof around, like, I'm going to play something else right now. Like, it's not that Diablo isn't fun and doesn't have some benefits. It's just, it's not like the changes to me made such a huge difference. The story has been fun. The cinematics are great. I do want to see more of them, but like, that's
it.
4 hours.
That's it.
Like, right.
That's
like, if you really went through it, like, that's a very short amount of the actual game that you're going to be playing. The end game grind and like all of that stuff. I'm glad it's there for the people that play a ton. It's just, I don't know, it just doesn't have the same draw. to me right now.
No, I agree.
I wish I think it would have been better had they done 2, even if the characters were a little broken. I think it would have been better to do 2, because right now all you see is everyone playing Spiritborn. I'm like, well, that's
Correct.
like, there's no personality to that, right? Like, it's just a bunch of half-dressed dudes with like an animal skin on their head just running around the forest. I'm like, okay,
You're not wrong.
I think having 2 would have just given a little bit of diversity, even if they were both super overpowered, just to let you play a bit
sell
differently.
copies. Yeah.
Spiritborn and Witch Doctor. What the fuck?
That would have been the same class though, bro.
Yeah, basically. Well, they would have looked very similar.
Yeah.
It's like
Can
the
I
spirit.
turn
It's like
into
the
a
same.
fucking chicken as a Spiritborn?
They wouldn't have
No,
played the
I can't.
same, but they definitely would have looked similar.
The Spiritborn and the Witch Doctor, that's like the sorcerer version of the Spiritborn, right? That's the one that we found it never kind of copied. That's why. It's because the Witch Doctor is that.
Yeah.
Wrap it up, Kyle.
I think I'm right there with you guys. Like
Take it
7.5. I jumped on and like made a rogue and played it a bunch, and it's just like it's just more of the same. The story is like interesting, yes, but it's still missing something, you know. But I wager that in like a season or 2, there's going to be some better improvements and things to make the game a little more fun, and we will come back to it then.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like I got the platinum. I'm completely satisfied with that.
There are new trophies for this one.
Oh,
there are, so
yeah, I think socially we'll always come back to this game. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's
so
the
easy to
draw
pick up
is
and play together. Like this,
Yeah.
that's
super
the nice
easy to
thing.
play as a
It
group.
just-
So
It just doesn't have the same draw that I get from essentially the gambling high I get while playing Diablo 2, trying to hunt specific items of gear
yes.
for some reason. It just doesn't
Doing-
hit that
No, that's fair.
dopamine like trigger.
doing the rifts in Diablo 3.
Yeah.
As fast as we could. Like that was like the
Same
funniest thing.
Yeah.
Like
I know they tried to bring that back
remember
a
we
bit.
ran rifts for like 4 hours straight, just
Oh,
like
yeah, it
fucking
was
around and
hilarious.
just bullshitting.
Yeah.
But that was the best
You know?
part, is it was mindless for the right reason. You're not hunting down a very specific roll of gear. That's the other thing that pisses me off still about this game, is like that there's percentages and like varying stat degrees and different stats on items and stuff. I'm just,
And then you have to go add stats.
at
to
this
it,
point
roll
you
the
have
right ones.
all
It's
of
just
these other things
Yeah.
that matter for your build.
It's
Just get
too
rid of
min-maxy.
that. Like it's so lame to me.
min-maxy for me.
It's so lame.
Yeah.
But
Couldn't
and
agree
also
more.
just make all your fucking cosmetic transactions $5, you greedy fucks. Like
I know you worked really hard on this, but it's a digital asset.
it's a digital asset. Like
It's not-
it should be $5. Like you'll
Daryl
sell
would've-
1,000 more of them.
Daryl will never buy one $50 skin, but he would buy
Nope.
10 $5 skins.
I
I'm
would.
telling you
Yeah.
that right fucking now.
I would. I probably would.
You know what?
It's easier to justify when you only buy one of those like every 3 months for $5.
If I could spend $20 and get, like a couple different sets, done.
Yeah.
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 I played this game for 600 hours. I'll pay $5 for a fucking extra
For a skin you really
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can drop
I ain't paying
$20 and I
50.
can have a unique
That's another
skin
game.
for every
Yeah.
class that I'm gonna play as. Then
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of time that Daryl has hummed and hawed over all the Warcraft skins.
Well, that's because I bought the expansion with the money attached to it, right? Like with all the
Yeah.
extra coin, and so it's just like
right.
it's like, oh, maybe. But then again, I'm like out of principle. I'm like, no,
yeah.
no. This is a principle standing for me.
It's the plan.
I'm not doing it. No.
Oh my god. Well, boys, I think that just about wraps it up for me. We have extensively talked about Diablo a lot. We were looking forward to this DLC, and it was subpar. We're not jazzed about
Good
it.
enough.
It's good
as
enough.
we
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
It's good enough. And on that note, I do think this episode 2 is good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for more content. We also invite you to write an email or join us on Discord to talk about anything from our episodes or something else you would like to discuss in the future. Please subscribe to the Good Enough Gaming podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to your podcasts. And remember, we might not be great, but we are good enough.